It's decision time for Israel, with people across the country heading to the polls in a snap parliamentary election. But due to the limited time for campaigning and the failure of the opposition to unite behind a single strong candidate, Prime Minister Netanyahu's victory seems a foregone conclusion. RT's policy reports on how a lack of change has left many Israelis apathetic and disillusioned by the state of democracy in their country.
The countdown has begun. But instead of scanning the papers to brush up on who's saying what in the final hours before Israelis head to the polls, Moshe Dadush is searching for an apartment. The 28-year-old is desperate to move out of his parents' home. But times are tough, and he blames the government.
I'm not going to vote. I see who are the candidates, and there is no one standing who represents me or who can change the general mood in the country.
The recent political jostling that saw candidates move from one party to another induced even more pessimism in people like Moshe, who have lost trust in Israeli politicians. The union between Bibi Netanyahu and his foreign minister Avigdor Lieberman into Lieberman government. The return of Tzipi Livni, former opposition leader, back into the fray just a few months after announcing her retirement, only frustrated an already election-weary public.
Many Israelis don't believe that the present politicians and parties have any really new solutions to the big problems facing Israel, be it security, be it peace, be it economic issues.
But among all the uncertainty, one thing is certain for the disenchanted voters.
I also feel like the outcome is predetermined. Everyone knows Netanyahu is going to win.
The apathy, based on the belief that Netanyahu will almost certainly win, has led experts to worry about the state of Israeli democracy.
There are some populations designing the Israeli society. If you take the settlers or the ultra-Orthodox, the percentage that turns out to vote is very high. It's above 80. On the other hand, when you look at the middle class, the youth and the Arabs, the percentage is around 60.
And those figures only help Netanyahu and his allies. Of course, there are parties who are ready to oppose the government's policies. One of their merits boasts that a vote for them is a secure vote against Netanyahu and a leadership that will destroy Israel.
First of all, our isolation in the world will continue. There will be no solution to the Palestinian problem, and the economic and social gaps between rich and poor will get much wider and deeper.
But Meretz is expected to win only around 5% of the votes in a record field of 34 parties that are running in these elections. Netanyahu's party is expected to get only about a quarter of the seats in the parliament. But with other political forces being shattered into rival factions, this is still going to be enough for him to continue in power. The coalition that Netanyahu is expected to build would have a very slim majority, but it would still give him the mandate he needs to map out this country's next 4 years. But the paradox of this election is that the candidate set to win is not particularly liked by most of the country. Paul Islier, RT, Tel Aviv.